And without further ado, here's Alma Perez-Jackson. Sorry about that. Well, it's nice to be here. Rockwall is a very beautiful city. If I had a choice to leave San Antonio, this is where I would go. It really is a nice, beautiful city. Okay, I want to make one thing clear. When I typed in education up there, I'm not talking about college education. I'm talking about people who need to be informed so that we can elect the very best candidates possible. Okay? We've got a lot of work to do with our youth because they have been misled for a long time, and we're reaping that. And it's very, very sad. Socialism is not good for America. But I have spoken to so many young people who are enamored with the idea of socialism, and they're confused. They're thinking free college. Socialism is not only free college, it's hell. And we don't need that here. Okay. Again, I was asked to start this organization up by our last chairman, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. And when he asked me, I told him the only way I would take this job, and by the way, it's not a paid position. My board is over there. I'm going to introduce them in a little bit. None of us get paid for anything we do. We pay for our own hotels and our own traveling expenses. So I told him the only way I would consider this is if we could base it on Judeo-Christian foundation. We have a lot of Hispanic Republican clubs across Texas, and I'm not knocking them, but some of them, they call themselves conservative and they're everything but. And I've seen that. Conservatism is a way of life. You live it. You're not like a politician that just tells you what you want to hear. We live conservatism. And the definition of that is to conserve, to defend what was once good. That is our purpose. And we're defending family values. We're defending moral ethics. We're defending what made America great. So, back to my board. Rosalba Martinez is a board member. Maria Hamline, board member. Joseph Vargas, he is my vice president. And one other, Naomi Narvaez, could not be here. But I'm very proud of them. I selected them because I've worked with them and I know their character. And I don't want any flakes on this board. So, our vision, the vision of the Juan Seguin Society, is to seek and work with Hispanics in order to build conservative leaders who will best serve their communities. We're not here to coddle Hispanics. And I want to make one thing clear. I do not like identity politics. I have never liked it. Race doesn't matter. Your ethnic background doesn't matter. None of that is important. What is important is that you defend our country just as those that came before us did. And we respect God and country. The mission is to attract Hispanic men and women to become viable participants in the Republican Party of Texas. When I was vice chairman, I traveled the border counties. I did a 7-day tour of the border counties, started in El Paso, went all the way down to Laredo, and I heard over and over again that they felt snobbery from Austin. And that really broke my heart, because we need every single county, no matter how small. If you're a Republican, you're a Republican, and you are welcome into this party. And that's the way it's going to be. So those are mainly the people I would love to speak to, because they felt left out, And they don't understand. You all know we have a lot of low information voters out there. The majority of them vote Democrat out of ignorance. They really do. They do it out of tradition. That's ignorance. We don't need that. We need informed voters, and maybe we can turn our country around. Okay, so that is one reason that I took this position. I said, I know what to do. I used to train precinct chairmen. I recruited within a period of 2 years about 200 of them in San Antonio, Texas. I trained them, I mentored them, and if I had not been doing that, folks, we would have never passed that censure against Joe Strauss. The reason for that, they respected me, they trusted me, and they would call me, what is this about? And all I did was tell them what was going on. So we had the votes. And again, it's because they've learned to respect you when you work with them. Just be honest with everyone. Even if it's something they may not want to hear, we need to work with facts, with truth. Okay? The goal is to increase the Hispanic voter base for the Republican Party of Texas. And I'll tell you later why I call myself a Republican. So how we're going to do it, we're trying to speak in different counties and to educate. And Joseph is excellent at that. That's why I asked him to be my vice president. But he's going to do some educational presentations when I'm done here. First of all, we need to be informed. We need to be able to speak about the issues. Because there's so many that have no clue. They don't even know what that critical race theory is when I talk to people about that. How can they not know? It's everywhere. Well, you know what it is? They're busy living their lives. A lot of people do that. That's another reason why some people don't even vote. They say they don't have time. I'm telling you, times are getting pretty bad, and you better make the time to start voting, and you better start getting informed. Each of these organizations are very credible and reputable. The first one is the Family Research Council. The second one is the American Center for Law and Justice, Jay Sekulow. I'm sure y'all have heard of him. He's excellent. He has a radio program. Prager University. That is very good for high school, college students, and anyone else who wants to get educated. They put out little short videos, the longest one's about 5 minutes long, on issues. Very educational and again, short. Attention spans are short everywhere. But it's excellent material. Hillsdale, another excellent. By the way, if any of you would like this, if you'll give me your email address, I'll be glad to email this particular slide to you. All of these, Wall Builders at the bottom, that's David Barton. He's a Christian historian. Over on the right side, the second column, the Texas Scorecard, Texas Taxpayers and Empower Texans. That's the Michael Quinn Sullivan group. They are very reputable, and the rhinos do not like them because they tell the truth. And they're not favored towards Republicans. They just tell you what our elected officials are doing, period. And that's the way we should get the news. God gave us a mind to think on and to think with and to make our own decisions. Let's use it. And I'm telling you, we need to be informed. Always be ready to give an answer. I recommend this book. Excellent. It's got every topic in it that you can imagine. Short answers. The man that wrote it, Greg Jackson, no relation. He really thoroughly, he cites everything in that book, where he got that information. And I'm telling you, I flipped through it and I could not get over how many topics are in that book. It's excellent. But we have to be ready with an answer when people question us. And the only way we're going to get people to understand and to see the truth is to engage them. We just have to. How many people walk up to you and say, I need information about so-and-so? They don't. It happens with just conversation. It could be a church member, it could be your neighbor, it could be a family member. We all have a circle of friends. And I'm telling you, politics is at the very top. As bad as things are, and they are bad, I'm not happy about that. But everything that is going on is working in our favor right now, because it is proving what that Democrat Party is able to do. And we need to reverse it. I couldn't have asked for a better president than President Trump. I was very about that first. I I really want him back, and I do believe he is the president.
Amen.
Woo!
Man.
When I was vice chairman, Grand Old Party didn't mean much to me. I knew it was traditional, but I preferred to promote Greater Opportunity Party. And that's because we are the party of opportunity. My parents came from Monterrey, Mexico. I wasn't born at the time. They crossed over with 5 little children, legally. And that's the way it should be, legally. I'm for securing our border. Every country has a border. America has the right to secure their borders. I was born in Texas, the very first one. And as a kid, I remember asking my dad, why did y'all move here from Mexico? And he said, en America hay mucha oportunidad. There is so much opportunity here. That stuck with me. When I saw this GOP, we are the party of opportunity, folks. So I love using this logo. I've seen it, it's fairly new. Dr. Robin Armstrong had it designed for us. And if you want to use it, I would be glad to email it to you so you can put it on anything you want to print up. Right here. This is our message, folks. Democrats have empowered their followers. They have enslaved them in a culture of dependence and entitlement. They call them victims. You're only a victim if you choose to be a victim. So get over it. And it's not about income inequality, it's about civic responsibility. If you have children, you take care of them. You pay for their braces, you pay for their college education. They're so accustomed to being coddled and given so many free things. You know, my family did come out of the housing projects in San Antonio, Texas. And as bad as that sounds, I'm not really proud of it, but I'm not ashamed of it either. Because we were only there for a very short while, maybe 10 months. It was just long enough for my father to save enough money for a down payment on a home. And my family was raised in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home, 8 children, and 2 adults. And we made it work. It worked. I had a job in the 5th grade. I worked at a bakery after school. I was paid 50 cents working from 4:30 after school till 9 p.m. What 5th grade kid goes to work these days? We were taught responsibility. We were taught ethics. My dad said, if you want something, you work for it. And I'm not suggesting we need to send our 5th grade kids out to work. That's not my point. The point is that in this country, anybody can succeed. And if you're not succeeding, there's something wrong with you. Is there. And maybe some have heard for too long that they're victims and that, I hate to use the term white people, but it's ridiculous. There is no white privilege. It's called an ethic. You work. Nothing was given to me, and we did fine. Out of 8 kids, 5 of us have college degrees, and my parents didn't pay for it. We went to school part-time, and we paid for it as we could. And that's not bad. That's good, because we earned the education. And everybody else needs to do the same. Period. You pay for it. So, we have 2 parties, the 2 major parties, Republican and Democrat, and we have a division there in America, too. There's the do's and the do-nots that want everything for free. And the burden I feel is to educate the do-nots, to tell them they can do it. They just have to get out of that mentality. It's been proven. There's thousands of success stories out there from immigrants, from people who had absolutely nothing, and they came up. It is possible, but it's hard work, and it does pay off. Do it. So we're the party of opportunity. Each of these points on here, I have spoken to different clubs. Some of you may have already heard this, but each one of these comes from our platform. That's why I call myself a Republican. I'm a firm believer of personal responsibility. This party is pro-life, pro-gun. Why can we not defend ourselves? This bit about the guns are doing all the killing, no, it's not the guns, it's the people holding the gun. They think we're stupid. We're not as stupid as we look. Healthcare choices. We need to be able to purchase what we need, not what the government says we need, what we need. It'll cost us. Freedom of religion. Leave us alone. If we want to go to church and if you feel sick, you stay home. But churches should be open.
Yeah.
Security. We promote our law officers. Forgive me, I'm not as prepared as I should have been. My husband passed away 2 weeks ago, and it's been a little tough. He was a police officer. He was also a Vietnam veteran. He fought for this country. And we need to support our veterans. I don't understand. I do not understand why we are giving illegals all these benefits and our veterans get ignored. That is wrong. Less regulation. Let each business succeed on its own efforts. Get out of our businesses, government. Smaller government. We sure need that, don't we? Lower taxes. Each of these points is an opportunity for us to succeed. Imagine if everyone followed this, especially the personal responsibility. The defense of life, that's a given. If we cannot defend little unborn babies, what kind of people are we? Amen. So you look at this. In San Antonio, I have spoken in many churches where I've talked to pastors, and I've asked if I can come in and speak to their church on the importance of voting, and most of the time I have to keep it very neutral. I don't even tell them I'm Republican. And I've been accepted sometimes, and I've had some pastors who are Republicans, and they tell me, tell the truth, and I do. I tell them what the Democrats are doing, and why they shouldn't be voting that way. Now I'm going to say there are some Republicans that we do not like. They have an R by their name, but they're really D's, and we need to vote them out. So many pastors have no clue what the two parties stand for. And I show them this, and they're shocked. Now, why is it so important to bring in the Hispanics? This was what happened in the November election of 2020, and out of 10 of the largest cities that changed towards Trump, Texas had 4. Laredo, it went up by 27.7. That was excellent, and that was due to President Trump. Nobody else can be president. He is not a racist. He cares for America, and I do too. America first. I was very touched by that. That's the first president I remember in my lifetime that ever said, we need to place America first. That's the way it should be. Here's another reason that it's good to work with the Hispanics and educate them. This was the growth last year in 2020. We had 2 million citizens added to Texas. It grew that much, but more than half of that were all Hispanics. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I show y'all that? I'm so sorry. Okay, let me go back. This is what I said that I show to pastors and put out in churches. Then you flip it over, and it surprises them. Forgive me for that. I'm a little spaced out. This was the Hispanic votes in the 2020 election. I'm so sorry I was not doing this. Joseph, you should have told me. Okay, and this is what I was talking about, the growth in 2020. And y'all know that many people are moving to Texas. And we welcome anyone who is a true conservative. We don't want the liberals here. We've got too many of them. In fact, I wish they'd take Bethel and get the hell out of Texas.
What do you really think, Alma?
Here's another one. The one at the very top, New Mexico, this is all percentages. I had no idea that New Mexico only had 2 million citizens. Houston's bigger than that, and that's a whole state. So while they have 48.79 population of Hispanics, that's really a very small number. Texas is the one that has grown the most. Population of California is 39 million, Texas is 28 million. But percentage-wise, we have 39.34% that are Hispanic. So I've got to reach them. We all have to reach them. We just need to tell them the truth. If they don't believe like us, get there by again. That's fine. But we need to find those who do believe like us and are voting in the wrong party. And that's what our job is. We're going to go across the state to do the best we can do. Now, we plan all sorts of stuff, and we work at it, we have meetings, we strategize. And then this really happens. You just had to straighten out the curves. You have to expect this. Life is not fair. It's never been fair, but it is what you make of it. And I'm going to say it again, there is no country like America. I am so proud to be an American. And there's no state like Texas. I thank God I live here, and I thank God that my parents had the initiative to move here from a country that's very corrupt. Of course, we are too, but we're going to work on that. This is a definition of patriotism. This was in 1828, a dictionary in 1828. Patriotism. I apologize. I just have one more to go. John in here, Joseph. John in here, Joseph. Okay. Patriotism, back in 1828, was defined as love of one's country, the passion which aims to serve one's country, either in defending it from invasion or protecting its rights and maintaining its laws and institutions in vigor and purity. Patriotism is the characteristic of a good citizen, the noblest passion that animates a man in the character of a citizen. 2004, look at what it was reduced to. Love for or devotion for one's country. And it's considered dumb to be patriotic. It is not dumb. It is pride in country, and it is gratefulness to God who gave us this country.
That's right.
So in closing, the difference between the impossible and the possible is determination. We must be determined to get out there and win people over and get them to vote with us. It's up to us, folks. This country has changed so very much from the time that I was a child. My own grandchildren, I heard someone say, why are we saying make America great again? America is great. They have no clue how great we were in the past when we honored and obeyed God. The blessings come when we're in the Word of God, when we line up with what God calls is correct. We don't get to make up the rules. It's God and country, and we better get back into that order.
That's right.
Thank you.